live and direct from the new planet Earth. Where pandemics are plenty, but the girls are still pretty in fashionable dresses. You know what I'm talking about. Where ignorance is bliss. You ain't gotta give a damn about no code.
Tell me who unleashed our animal instinct. Why the op standing there tickle pink? Have a drink, walking them up liquor. Shot of poison, one thicker. Somebody got some explaining to do. And the classic man is a danger to you. And me too, tatted on my forehead. Go home, go to bed. I dread something we get this way come. When the family unit is overrun. When the structure is undone. Some new concoction. Now I walk softly and carry a big stick. Original gorilla in the midst.
Welcome back to the Franchise Podcast. I'm Joe Arrigo. With me is my partner in crime, TQ.
Yep. We back in the building. How you doing there, sir? With your polo shirt on today?
Had to rep the crew back in Cali. You know,
there he is.
Players only live once.
Oh my God. Aging us, bro. Aging us.
It is what it is, man. But man, we got a big show, but big news I want to start with today, man.
Yeah.
It came out on Monday. Lamar Jackson on March 2nd asked for a trade. And at the NFL owners meetings, John Harbaugh was having a conversation with the media.
Yeah.
And he didn't know that Lamar tweeted it out right when he was meeting. And he was kind of like, had to navigate through the waters. Man, like the question is this, and I want to get your opinion first. Why do you think Lamar's having such a hard time getting paid?
Look, man, you can have your conspiracy theories. You can have thought processes that are rooted in conspiracy theories. Or you can look at the cold, hard truth that may have a bit of the conspiracy theory in it. Because here's the bottom line. When Deshaun Watson got paid that kind of contract,
$230 million.
guaranteed,
Fully.
from the Browns, I believe that absolutely pissed everybody else off.
The whole league.
Exactly, because that opened up a box that is where this Lamar Jackson issue is rooted. Now, first and foremost, let me start by saying this. Cleveland and every other team in the NFL can afford to pay their quarterback $230 million guaranteed. Period. Bottom line. Now, they can, but they will not. And that's where we are right here today. If I'm Lamar Jackson and I look at that contract, I say in every single way, whether I'm right or wrong, I'm saying I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm looking at my mirror. In every single way, I'm worth more than Deshaun Watson is. At the time when Deshaun Watson got that contract. So then I'm coming off of what I feel is a disrespectful offer, right? I'm playing on, in a year, I'm betting on myself when this particular team, more so than any other team, that I am the most valuable player I'm more of a valuable player to my team than any other player is, maybe other than Patrick Mahomes. In the league.
You can make that argument.
Right?
100%.
His team has been tailor-made for him, right? They still haven't given him the tools that he needed to take them further than he's taken them, and he still has them in contention every year. So then they come back and talk about injuries. You come back and talk about injuries with the amount of stuff that you have me doing that the rest of my compadres across the league don't have to do. You want to tell me about my injuries? No. If I don't care if a hair comes out of my ankle. I'm sitting down. Holla at your boy.
Well, here's the thing. 45-16 as a starter in the NFL. He's won an MVP, and other than when he's played against Aaron Rodgers, he's been the best player on the field against every opponent since college. And there's no debate with that.
At all.
And a Heisman winner.
Absolutely.
I think Lamar Jackson has came out with more scrutiny, or has had more scrutiny since he came out of college. I mean,
still gets it.
That's what I'm saying. So Bill Polian coming out, he needs to play receiver. He's too fast too athletic to play quarterback. He's got to get the ball in his hands. Well, nobody has the ball in their hands more than a quarterback.
Exactly.
So he's at the right position.
Exactly.
He's a better passer than Michael Vick.
Yes.
He came out as a better passer than Michael Vick.
Yes.
Michael Vick will say that. He goes to the league and all he does is win. Wins an MVP.
Yes.
Leads him to, I believe, an AFC championship game.
Yes.
Okay, so he has hurt. He's gotten hurt, but the line wasn't great.
There's a reason for him to get hurt.
And you know Greg Roman as well as I do, the former offensive coordinator. He wants to run the ball. He doesn't like to pass it.
Nope.
You've seen that with Colin Kaepernick.
Yep.
You've seen that with Alex Smith.
Yep.
And you've seen it with Lamar Jackson.
100%.
So you can't blame the receivers for not getting the ball. The Baltimore invested in receivers. They spent first-round picks. They went on and got guys. I
don't know about that,
We'll
man.
see this year. We'll see this year with their new OC up there.
It's been the only thing I can even remember, even remotely close to a weapon that was consistent to actually move the change consistently. Mark Andrews, that's it. And that's a tight end.
He's a top 3 tight end in the league.
He's never had a threat. Never had a guy that made the. He's always been, since he's been in the league, he's the guy on the field that makes the defense afraid. Well, nobody else in the whole offense. They never had a running game outside of him. He's always been their number one runner. He's the number one option for everything. He deserves to be paid like the top player is being paid.
Absolutely.
They set the market. Be mad at Cleveland. Don't be mad at Lamar.
And one more thing. People want to talk about how he doesn't have an agent. Neither did Laramie Tunsil. And he negotiated 2 contracts that made him the highest paid tackle in the game. So I don't care if Lamar has an agent or not. Lamar Jackson has earned every penny that he has. So let me ask you this. Realistic places, where do you think Lamar will end up, or what do you think the best scenario or place for Lamar is?
Best scenario? Okay. I would say, first of all, Baltimore.
Okay,
I'm saying from a certain part of the country that I've visited, that I've been around. TT has her expo in this area.
Yeah.
Lamar means a lot to that area. He fits that area. So that being said, come on down the freeway, man. Go to Washington. The fan base within that part of the nation, I mean, it just works, man. It's Chocolate City, bro. It's kind of like, I mean, even if they get sold.
That's a good thing for a new owner, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
great
PR
right there.
Great thing for a new owner. Lamar fits the bill, and he fits the pulse of DC. What DC is all. It's Chocolate City, baby. It is. Come on, man. Lamar is made for that. But I can say the same thing about Baltimore.
So, you can say the same thing about Atlanta.
Can say the same thing about Atlanta also. I think that I want to see him competing against the AFC. I feel like it makes good fodder for us with all of those quarterbacks being in that same conference. Yeah. Because it's going to be a dogfight going through that gauntlet of the Justin Herberts and the Patrick Mahomes and the Josh Allens and all of these guys. And if Aaron Rodgers ends up over there, which is likely,
up there.
Right? So I just want to see that murderer's row, man. So I would love for him to stay in Baltimore. But I will say, if he rides down the road to DC, boy.
I'm going to give you 2 scenarios.
They back.
For me, I think I agree with you with DC 100%. Also, I got all the love for Coach Rivera, friend of the show.
Yes.
Christine Garcia, Seagar, coaching out there, used to be at UNLV. But I'm going to give you 2. And Atlanta would probably be my next best place. Just him in Atlanta would
kind of that vibe. Same thing. Chocolate City, man. It's that vibe. You know what I'm saying? Just
but
goes
the thing
with
is, they kind of did Mike Vick dirty. They kind of, hung him out to dry a little bit. They didn't have his back. So
Mike Vick wouldn't say that.
No, that's
Mike
true.
Vick would say he did himself dirty.
That's true. That's true. And then I'm going to give you 2 sleeper places. First one is Motown, Detroit. They got 2 first-round picks. They have weapons, and they can ship Jared Goff over there, so it's a placeholder for them to have if they wanted to draft a quarterback.
Chocolate City all over again. We got a theme here. You know
what I'm saying?
I'm not mad at that.
And the other one you're gonna love, but I don't think it happens, is San Francisco.
If San Francisco was to pull that trigger, that I feel like they are the number 1 contender for the Super Bowl.
Agreed, 100%.
That being said, I don't think they do it. I think that San Francisco, outside of everybody else, loves their quarterback situation. Maybe everybody thinks they're crazy, but
They love the money come the rookie contracts.
man, they love it. They love it. Money versus talent. They feel like they got a good situation coming into camp. They've been assured that Brock's elbow is going to be fine. Trey's ankle's going to be fine. And I think they just love their situation. They see where they can fill in some holes of some guys leaving during the draft. I think they've shown that they love to build in the draft, especially along the lines. So I think they've got their eyes set on something with this crew that they have already. But that being said, can you imagine Lamar Jackson in that system with those weapons?
I could, and that would be crazy. And God, hell must be getting cold right now. Because because when we were on the Porterway podcast on Wednesday, I got asked from Ant straight up, hey, do you think Green Bay is going to, Super Bowl contender? I said, no, it's not. And you admit it. It's the first time ever.
Yeah, exactly. It's the first time that you've told the truth. That's what it is. Nothing has changed. They haven't been a Super Bowl contender since Jimmy Garoppolo got traded to the 49ers. And he has been the end of the Aaron Rodgers era in Cheese Town.
And then today, you said the 49ers would be the number one team for the Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
And I agreed.
You did. Finally, he's right. Hell has frozen over. And finally, you on point telling the truth. This is what it is. But, that being said, it's unfortunate that we even had to get to this point. I don't think we would have got to this point if it wasn't for the Deshaun Watson deal.
Agreed.
And it's kind of where we are, man. People always talk about, what's too much money? Listen, the market is what sets the amount of money.
Yeah, market dictates it, the whole marketplace.
So, that guy's got the highest guaranteed contract, no MVP, been out of football for 2 years, off the field issues. If I'm Lamar, I'm like, man, give me my skrill, man. I need my money.
Well, I also look at it like this. I don't want to hear about injuries.
No, me either.
Because you got the Bosa brothers who've been hurt and they got paid.
Yep.
There's plenty of other players that have gotten paid.
Yep.
And they've had injury issues, but it's different for Lamar Jackson. Nah, Baltimore either pay the man or trade him to where he needs to go, get what you can, and let him get paid one way or another. He deserves it. He's earned it.
Let me ask you this. We don't know all the inner workings of what has gone on between him and Baltimore.
No.
Right? With all that he's sacrificed, with all that he's been asked to do since he got to that squad, is it a feeling of, look, hey, man, these people don't seem to care about me. They hanging me out here to dry, right? Now, I'm, 25? What is he, 25, 26 years old?
Yeah, he's young.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so I'm out here playing on a franchise tag. They haven't come to the table with anything that's made any sense to me. This is kind of disrespectful. Not only is it disrespectful, I got a little twinge here in my ankle or a little twinge here in my knee. Now, under normal circumstances, I'd absolutely go out here and play on this. But I ain't feeling the love. I need to sit my young self down, take care of my situation, and put myself and my family in a position to succeed for the next decade of me playing football. And Baltimore dropped the ball on that. So
yeah, I agree.
I don't have a problem with him coming out publicly himself. I was watching Shefty talk about the fact that, the situation he's in allows him to be traded, to seek a trade anyway, which is the what do you call
franchise
it?
Tag?
The franchise, but which one? It's two different ones.
The
Non-exclusive franchise tag allowed him on, I think, March 7th, right, to go out and seek a trade. But to come out during the timing of the meetings, as soon as your coach sits down at the table.
Genius.
Come on, man, that tells you something right there. And that sets the stage for a different part of this saga now, where he has publicly come out and say, check this out, I don't want to be a Raven no more, period. Now, I'll say if they come back and say, hey, we'll give you $250, he'll be back.
I want to be a Raven. I'll fly right back.
But as of today, we don't see that happen, and that's probably not going to happen. And I think we should probably expect to see Lamar in a different uniform.
So one thing I love about this is Lamar's controlling his own narrative. He is 100% going to dictate and say what he wants and what the truth is and from his point of view.
Yeah.
LeBron did the same thing last week. End of last week, LeBron, Woj and Sams came out with a report. Notice how Chris Haynes wasn't in there, right?
Yeah, right.
Shout out to the homie Chris.
For sure.
But Woj and Sams came out with a report, LeBron is targeting April 3rd or whatever. And
Right.
LeBron was basically like, shut up.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on,
Right.
and I'm going to break the news myself. And then on Sunday, lo and behold, LeBron breaks news, I'm back against the Bulls. I thought it'd have been great if he would have put out a fax that just says, I'm back. Like that was it. That would have been probably one of the most hilarious things.
Yeah.
The Lakers unfortunately didn't win the game, but they're making a playoff push, and I think the game later on, I don't know if it's this week or next week when they play the Clippers. That's going to be probably the game that is going to determine a lot for them. But they got another game against the Bulls Wednesday night, and Pat Bev did his little LeBron's too little for me. I know it's all in good fun with Pat Bev, but the Lakers are making a playoff push, and with LeBron getting back at the right time, they're getting healthy. Marcus Threet's a good friend of mine out here in Vegas. I said LeBron's back, and he had brought up a good point. And it's a question I wanted to ask you. Do you think LeBron coming back you're gonna see a dip in production and some on the court struggles with the guys that had just he only played a couple games with them. So with D'Lo, Beasley, Vanderbilt, and Rui.
Yeah. I absolutely do. But that's why I'm glad he came back now.
Yeah.
As opposed to later on this season. There seems to be some urgency about play-in versus safely into the playoffs. I'm not worried about that.
You made that clear last week that you thought that LeBron coming in, you playing game is still gonna win.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Worst we could be Dallas.
Yeah, come on. I'm not that part. I'm not worried about, and I'm not as worried anymore about them slipping below the line. I think what we always have to look at now is that the presence of LeBron James on a team with young people. I go back to I started out in a boy band, right, and I remember a particular show we did on NBC, and I think it was called Celebrate the Soul of American Music.
I remember that.
Right?
Yeah.
And where they would have young artists do a tribute to the OGs, right? And on this show, our group had to do the Four Tops, and the Four Tops was sitting right there, along with the Temptations and Diana Ross and like all of these just OGs.
Smokey Robinson?
They told us Prince
was
going to be sitting in the front row. From that point, everything changed. I was not in my performance brain. I was in the brain of, oh my God, I'm going to be on stage and Prince is going to be sitting right there. It changed everything. It changed everything for all of us. We didn't go into, now we performed constantly. It was nothing. Like we practiced Sugar Pie Honey Bun and I'll Be There. Those were songs that we warmed up on, right? This particular day, it just changed our mindset. My boy Mark, who sang bass for us, had a beautiful voice, and we was putting him on a lot of different lead songs. Man, my man came in on the wrong key and stayed in the wrong key for the whole while. I mean, we were just completely off because of that presence that was sitting right, and Prince is there with these big black glasses on, sucking on a lollipop, while we're up there just singing terribly. And it was just the most embarrassing moment. I say all that to say, some of the cats on our team, on the Laker roster right now, had LeBron up on their wall.
Yeah.
They went out and bought LeBrons and wore them to school. The man's been playing for 20 years. You got to get past the shock and awe of the fact that the king is on the court with me, right? It does something to you. You remember when Kobe got surrounded by the young kids.
Yeah.
You remember the first time LeBron got surrounded by the young kids. I think that takes a little bit of time to work yourself out of.
Yeah.
Just understanding that you're playing next to greatness. It's not so much about worrying about what he's doing and deferring to him. It's about doing the job that got you to the team. This particular team that Rob Pelinka has built, if you go man for man, this is a LeBron finals type team.
Yeah.
The times that he did not get there, it was because he didn't have this type of team. Every other time he did, it was this type of team. It's going to take a while, a couple of games for them to mesh, for them to gel, for them to understand that, yes, this is one of the greatest players that's ever lived. This is the all-time scoring champion, but he's my teammate. And I got to use all the tools that he still has that makes my game better. Once that clicks, Lakers off to the races.
One of the things about Sunday's game that was very unfortunate was Anthony Davis got in foul trouble midway through the third. He had 5 fouls and it really didn't come back until almost midway through the fourth. Right. And he didn't score. He went out with 15 points and ended with 15 points. And not having AD play and be able to play aggressive like he's been playing.
Right.
Because AD's playing like an MVP right now. If he would have done this all year, he'd be right there with Embiid, with Giannis, and with Jokic in MVP talk. Second half, he may be the MVP of the league. But I look at how Davis is playing. D'Angelo Russell didn't play on Sunday either. Right. So when you get D'Lo back in there now, again, more spacing. Malik Beasley's the guy that I think is going to be key because he wants to knock down more threes. He's admitted on Instagram, on his feed, he said, look, no one wants to hit more threes than me. I know I have to do a better job of that. Yeah. Because some fan went in and started, you need to stop talking about your kid's birthday party and go practice shooting threes. Like, really? Troll, shut the hell up. Let the guy talk about his kid's birthday party. That's what it's about. But,
man, but listen, I mean, that's cool. You can say that, but these guys got to understand who they play with now. Like, them other teams, you're not with them other teams right now. This team that you're with right now, man, they expect to win. And this is whatever the next championship is, the most important championship in Lakers history. It puts the Lakers above the Celtics in all-time lore. So understand the pressure that's gonna come with the position that you're in. That's even outside of the on-the-field issues with Russell Westbrook. I think that was part of why he didn't work. It's just the sensitivity to a fan base that is obsessed with winning and being able to talk the most about being the best. And it just comes with a lot. You know how people say, oh, he's not ready for the New York media, not ready for the New York media. Okay, well, Lakers media and Lakers fandom, it's the same.
Out of all of them in LA, that's the worst.
You can take that one and sit in New York and it's fine.
There's no grandstanding and
not at all. So this is something that's going to always come, especially when you were brought here to do a certain thing and you're not doing it well. I mean, Powell just got his jersey retired. Mm-hmm. Do you remember after those first finals when he got here that year against the Celtics?
When it was a white swan?
Oh, my God. You remember how they did him? And I'm saying to myself, man, we wasn't even in contention before this guy got here. Laker Nation didn't care, man. They didn't care.
I will say that when it comes to Malik Beasley, I do think there is a trend. Some guys takes a little while to transition. It's been less than a month or about a month. Took Rui about that to get settled, and he's been fine. I think it's the same thing with Beasley. Just chill out. Like he's gonna come up big. You know?
He'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. I think there is something that, and I guess it's still experimental right now, but Hachimura has got to be in the rotation.
Yeah, I would probably.
I can't see keeping him out of the game. You just can't. The Lakers could do nothing inside in that game against the Bulls, and I think that Coach has to find a way to get Lonnie Walker some minutes and get Rui some minutes in the same game. I know it's about shortening up the rotations going into the playoffs and all, but both these players just bring things that the team needs on different nights against different squads.
Well, I think maybe that's what it is, just playing what the fit is best against your opponent. And,
right.
Troy Brown has played well.
Yes.
I mean, shout out to the former Las Vegas High School Centennial star. So when it comes to the Lakers, I mean, they're deep. And that's the problem. That's a great problem to have.
Great
the
problem
Lakers are deep. So if Hoochie Mama doesn't play, hey, sorry, man, you ain't up Hoochie Mama tonight. You're gonna chill out. You're gonna get that check.
So ratchet, bro.
Why you gotta be ratchet?
Because you just are. You always have been.
Yeah.
You've always been ratchet. Always have been. I mean, I was signed to Cash Money and you was the most ratchet person I knew. It's crazy. But nah, man, literally, this is the best I've felt about the Lakers. Since 2020, I feel like
I feel better about them than the 2020 team, to be honest.
They mirror the 2020 team to me.
This team beats them.
It's a lot to like about how that team gelled together in that bubble. And I think that this team has the opportunity to do the same thing.
Well, we'll see. And one of the things that, you talk about fandom, and Lakers fans are top tier in the NBA. I mean, you got Lakers, Celtics, and you got to give up for Knicks fans.
For
Knicks
sure.
Fans,
I mean, they're a little
extreme.
not extreme. I think that they live in some kind of other universe or some kind of
Stuck in 70-something?
alternate. Yeah, something's wrong with them. They always think that they're going to contend for something. Never. You know what? They like the Cowboys. Knicks fans are a lot like Cowboy fans when it comes down to expectations based on absolutely nothing.
Except Knicks fans have a cooler super fan, Spike Lee.
Yeah, Knicks fans are cooler, period.
Yeah.
Period.
Agreed.
I'm just saying expectations for thinking that they're going to mean something as far as basketball goes. It's just like Dallas. Like those people in Dallas right now, you guys really believe that you're going to contend for a Super Bowl this coming up year. You believed it last year. You believed it the year before that, and the year before that, and the year before that. And all you've been for all of this time is trash. You've been garbage. You've done nothing whatsoever. Oh, remember when you got Ezekiel Elliott? Oh my God. Emmitt Smith, we got the next Emmitt Smith, he's back. Where is he now? He's not even on their team no more, right? What have they done? Nothing. Lose. That's it. I'm sorry I digress, but it's always some Dallas fan that's in my DM talking trash to me for some reason, and they get the forum to continue to talk trash, and I hate it. They haven't done jack.
I almost got him cursing.
I almost did.
Well,
every once in a while, I'm sorry, Dallas is gonna get under my skin, and I'm gonna have to use my forum to say something about it, and that's when it was.
Well, I'm glad you talked about the fan bases, because the Vipers have a pretty good fan base here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, man.
And
yes, they do.
And shout out to DJ E-Rock for keeping the place moving.
Yes.
At the Snake Pit at Cashman Field.
That last game, man, it was rough.
It was hard to watch.
E-Rock,
It really was.
You kept us in it, though. Kept us in it. It was cold out there. We on the sidelines. We're trying to just muster up some kind of, you know what that reminded me of? It was Raiders versus Saints.
Really, just no energy.
Yeah, man, it's just nothing. It was just nothing there, man. Like it's like the offensive line took the day off. Defense couldn't muster up anything. Quarterbacks were just playing, just.
Well, Huntley at least let him down to a scoring drive.
He did.
Shout out to Brett. But
it seems in that situation, the starter never performs.
No, Luis Perez performed well the week before against the Guardians. Like he started that was the first game all year, start to finish. The thing about Perez that I like is that I think because he's so used to the offensive system that he kind of knows certain things, and Huntley's still kind of feeling his way into it a little bit. But I think Huntley just brings a different dynamic with his running ability.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's holding them back, honestly, is just settling in, saying, this is our guy. And that's kind of a common theme in the XFL. The Guardians had the same thing. They were starting Paxton Lynch, and then they went to the other cat, and the other cat's betting, then they go to him. And the other guy this week played like trash, too.
Yeah, he's trying to figure it out, man.
Terrell Buckley's trying to figure it out. I think Rob Woodson's kind of trying to figure that out, too. But we support the Vipers.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
And
absolutely.
We got provided an opportunity with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, the FCA.
Yes.
Along with the Vipers, to give away 2,500 tickets for this Saturday's game when they play against the Brahmas from San Antonio.
Yeah, man.
So
we gotta pack Cashman out, man. Gotta pack it out. Listen, it's an atmosphere. I just love the presentation, man. I love what they're trying to do as far as bringing spring football to the cities where they are. Vegas is mad for sports, period. There has been a lot of losing in the city all of a sudden. The Golden Knights came in here and smashed it, and you saw how Vegas got behind them. UNLV's been a lot of losing. Still has a viable fan base in the city. The Lights, they haven't done particularly well. Still a viable fan base in the city. The XFL, it's the same thing, man.
Yeah.
People in Vegas love their sports, and we have the opportunity now to give away some tickets. So, We want y'all to come out and pack the place Saturday. We're going to be there in full force. Got all the shooters on the field and try to bring y'all the best content we possibly can from this last home game.
And so if you want to know how to do it, it's real simple. All you have to do is go to our IG page, and there are graphics that's up there.
Yep.
It's real simple. Click on the link in bio, click on the graphic, fill it out.
Yep.
Follow the franchise, follow FCA, and follow the Vipers on Instagram. Use the hashtag #RallyTheValley, and then boom, you'll get
You're in.
email. You fill it out, and you get your tickets. Real simple.
Just that easy. Just that easy. You'll have a code that you'll have to put in on the form, and put your email in, and come on to the game.
So we're not going to tell you the code right now, because then you won't actually go use it. So you got to go in, click on the link,
check
get
it out.
the code and everything.
And make sure you give us a follow. Follow the franchise at TheFranchiseLV. Follow the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, which is at FCA Vegas.
Yes.
Right? And then follow the Vipers at
XFL Vipers.
XFL Vipers.
Yep. That's the business. Man, this was a busy weekend in Vegas. This past weekend. You had the Vipers playing.
Yes.
We had the NCAA tournament going on.
Boy.
Sweet 16.
Boy.
And there were some games.
Man, this tournament for me, it's been the best one. It's been the best one for me.
You like seeing the little schools do their thing.
Yeah, man, because I feel like this is the most this is the best use of a playoff system. The NCAA tournament. I feel like it gives the opportunity for everyone to kind of put their hands in it and make a difference or not. And the cream rises to the top. And the bottom line is, my belief is that the transfer portal has created a level of parity that we are going to always see in the NCAA tournament. And this whole blue blood thing is over.
I disagree completely with the blue
wrap.
blood thing. I think what's created a lot more parity, and I would agree with the transfer portal, but is also the one and done rule. Because guys will go to, you think you're getting
The
a
one
stud.
and done's been around.
Yeah, but see,
It's been here.
if you miss, and you miss bad, like Kentucky builds a whole team around one and dones.
Yeah. They've been doing it. They've won championships
And they've
with
hit,
it.
but when they miss, they miss.
But they haven't missed every time. What's the difference
missed this
between the
time.
last 10 years and right now? The difference is the transfer portal. A guy would rather go to a lower school and be able to get on a ride like this than to sit at the end of the bench at Kentucky when he feels like he's a better player than this guy.
Well, the thing also is NIL, and now everybody can pay, not just the blue blood.
That's why I just said this blue blood thing it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Any person, any lawyer from them backwoods Texas can come to University of North Texas and say, hey, here's $1 billion. Go get the best team in the league and let's win the tournament. Like it's just like we always talk about with NIL. They opened up Pandora's box. Yeah. It ain't how you say it. The toothpaste ain't going back.
You squirt the toothpaste out, you're trying to put it back in the tube.
No, it's not gonna work. So I mean, I've always loved the tournament, but I've always loved the tournament because I love North Carolina. I love UCLA, and a lot of times they do well in the tournament. So I'm sitting there to watch the tournament to see the Tar Heels. That's dead. Tar Heels didn't even make it. Now I'm watching the tournament to see who's gonna upset who. And for the teams who believe in that little number that they have throughout the season, if you think that's gonna make you the man come tournament time,
man,
you're gonna see something different.
So
quick.
FAU, San Diego State,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So first of all, FAU.
Hey, hats off.
Lane Kiffin University. Lane, man, you put that place on the map. Sorry, Mr. Snellenberger. It was Lane that put it on the map.
Hats off, man.
And they went out there and dominated. Do you agree with the call in the San Diego State game? That kind of like, I mean, it was end of the game. Guy went up for a board. The guy boxed out, kind of slid back. And it was really, really late. And they called the foul.
I think the issue was it being late. I think if you go back and look, it was a foul, but it's emotions, it's high emotions at the time, man, and that was just it's one of them emotion turning moments, you know.
Who do you want to win the whole thing now?
San Diego State.
Yeah.
I want San Diego State to win the whole thing. I think
agree
that'd
with
be
that.
big for them.
Or Miami.
I like that team too.
Yeah.
I like that team.
I like
too. But
Larry
we had a chance to see San Diego State up close and personal. So, and I think they create matchup problems for everybody
Their
left.
size.
That size is.
Yes.
They got some length that's out of here, man. And FAU's been a great story. I don't see it happening.
I mean,
Don't see it happening.
just the tournament in general. I mean, day one, the first day of the tournament, a lot of people's brackets busted.
Yeah, probably more than ever.
I had Marquette winning it, and
Really?
they lose to Michigan State last Sunday. I'm like, well, I've even gone and looked at my bracket. Like at that, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
And nobody else, whoever's doing it with, like all my guys, like that grew up with that, put me
But
in this.
you know, I want to say something though about that Michigan State team because I heard on something where they went to Coach Izzo like, look, we don't want to do this transfer portal thing. We think we got the squad that can do it. We want to stay together. We want to come back and try it again. And he believed in them.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's just, I think that it goes to show, you know, how guys that are that tenured and that successful for that long, how they stay there. They make those relationships with those players. They do these kind of things, and it builds a love. You're always going to get a guy that says, man, I want to go play for Coach Izzo, period.
But like I think that's my problem with the portal for basketball, and even the one and done. I think you and I agree the 80s and 90s was like the golden era of basketball. I mean, you got Big East Saturday mornings where it always was a good game between Georgetown and St. John's or UConn or, I mean, Syracuse. I mean, it was just like.
I feel like it was more competitive with the other sports, like as far as for our attention than it is now, right?
Yes.
It seems like it's a bit splintered in the way that they promote it and the way that it goes out there. It only gets important at this time of year.
Because it's on like 35 different channels.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
makes sense.
And then like you had guys like Joey Brown was the point guard for Georgetown, and I swear to God, he was a point guard for Dikembe Mutombo, Alonzo Mourning, Reggie Williams. Like there was like anybody, probably Patrick Ewing too. I mean, it seemed like Joey Brown was there forever, and it was like, damn, that's like a 4 or 5 year guy started there, and you got a chance to follow the teams. Like, I remember the '89 Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket team with Lethal Weapon 3, Kenny Anderson, Brian Oliver, and Dennis Scott. That was a killer team. And then, you know, Oliver and Scott moved on. It was just Kenny Anderson the following year. They weren't as good.
Right.
But you watch those teams, you kind of grow with them as a fan base. You don't do that nowadays.
It's rare, man. It's rare. I was looking at Baycott's coming back for a 5th year at North Carolina. And I feel like I know him. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember when he came there, and I've been able to watch him all these years, watch him get better, watch him, you know, go from the Roy Williams regime to the new regime with Hubert. And it's kind of like, it's like you said, with sports, I think the reason why it's so emotional and why we're so attached to it, it's not just it's the journey of the individual athletes. Yeah. Right?
100%.
It's such a it's such a story of redemption when an athlete comes in and, you know, reaches their goal, right? We put the actual on the court play, but we also put the interviews in the back of our minds, right? When they're talking about their mom, they talking about their dad, they talking about their upbringing.
Yes.
These kind of things we follow. So that the transfer portal and the one and done rule kind of just puts us in a position where kind of defers that. Most of the guys that are one and dones, we end up finding them in the league. They're signed to a contract somewhere so we can grow with them within that one uniform. I think they kind of messed it up, that part of college basketball, for sure.
You bring that up, like, I remember in 1988.
I wasn't around then, man. You old.
Yeah, whatever. I remember ESPN doing something they had never done before, which was making an announcement of a basketball player signing making his college decision. And it was just on Sports Center. Yeah, Dick Vitale sitting in studio, and it was between Syracuse, North Carolina, and Georgia Tech. And I remember the player being so nervous, he kept moving his mouth. Like,
Who was it?
it's Kenny Anderson.
Really?
Yes. And it was a big deal. And they
He
talked.
was so good, though.
Man.
So good. In
I
high
still the best high school point guard I've seen.
So good in high school, man.
And even at Georgia Tech, man. Like,
Yeah, he's nuts.
we got to get him on the show. I'm gonna call him.
Yeah,
I'm gonna call
call
him. It'd be a Zoom. It'd be Zoom or something.
all
Just
good.
because he's down at Fisk as their head coach at Fisk University.
Sweet.
So, so Friday night, you and I got a chance to do something. Traffic was crazy. I'm talking about we had a busy weekend.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
had, you had the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
We had Vipers. We had the Caleb Plant and Benavidez fight, which we'll get to in a second.
Yes.
Taylor Swift was in town.
Oh, man.
I mean, it was just wild all night. But you and I got invited to a place called Almighty Originals at
Yes.
Resorts World.
Yes.
And our good friend, brother, Super James, DJ Super James, and his partner,
Shouts
Larry, started a shoe store at Almighty Originals.
Yes.
And it is, if you want high-end fashion, not even high-end fashion, you want Jordans, Air Force Ones,
Yeah.
Dunks.
And some one-of-a-kind custom joints, too, man, for all the sneakerheads out there. If you come through Vegas, go to Resorts World. Go into the mall, check this place out. Because, like, some of the kicks and the T-shirts, I'm a T-shirt guy.
Yeah, T-shirts were crazy.
Oh, man. Some of the T-shirts, I'm going to go in there and have a T-shirt wreck for the summer. But, like, yeah, man, stop by Almighty Originals. I'm just like the amount of inventory and just all fresh.
We seen the back, too.
Yeah,
So,
we
I mean,
went
it
back in
was,
the back,
woo.
man. Like, a lot of y'all the sneakerheads out here. This is the spot out here in Vegas, man. I was impressed.
What I like about it, when James pointed out, was if you wear a size 17,
Yeah.
they have it.
Yeah, exactly.
They got shoe size for people my size, his size,
Yeah.
and all
Across
you
the
tall
board.
people that got big ski feet like Kalani Lua from the main event. Like they got it. They got all that.
Ski feet.
So Almighty Originals, Resorts World, second floor.
Yes.
Make sure you guys check it out. We may be doing some stuff there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, might do some live remotes with them. Have a couple of guests come in on the show. It's just a spot, man. It's just a cool vibe.
DJ playing.
Yeah, Resorts World is fly anyway, and it just it matches the fly.
Did you see DJ AM's shoe?
Crazy.
That
Yes.
was crazy.
That was my favorite one in the spot.
Really?
Yeah, that was my favorite shoe there. It was sick. It was, it's like looked like a Las Vegas kick, man. It's
It
like
did.
the UNLV colors and all franchise colors. Like, yeah, it was. Yeah, that's my favorite shoe in the spot. But go check them out, man. Y'all sneakerheads, you'll love this spot. You really will.
Well, Caleb Plant's a sneakerhead,
Yes.
big time.
He is.
And he wore some fresh ass shoes during the boxing match this weekend.
Yeah.
Against David Benavidez. And so it was probably the fight of the year. And it lived up to the bill. 100%. We were on the Porterway pod and they asked our opinion. Who and I really don't know. I don't remember who you said who you thought was gonna win.
I thought it would be Benavidez. I didn't think it would happen the way that it did. I did think that Plant would come out with the correct game plan, which I feel like he did. He's a superb boxer, right? His footwork is great. He moves around the ring. He's got good pace to him. He's got good stamina to him. I thought that he would be able to tire Benavidez out at
Really?
the beginning of the fight. I did because
At the beginning?
At the beginning,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
because I thought that Benavidez was going to come in there and just look for a knockout. And I thought that he was going to spend all his energy up and Plant was going to be able to take him into the deep water late, right? But I also always said Plant is not going to be able to take them bazookas that Benavidez is able to just constantly assault you with. And the first part of the fight went like I thought, but you could tell, man, when he felt them shots, when Plant felt them shots, it just changed it. What Mike Tyson say about
Everybody has a plan to get in there until they get hit.
That's it. And that's when the plan changed because, I mean, that dude just has hammers. It sounds different when he connects.
Now, see, on the Porterway pod, I actually shocked them when I said Benavidez by decision. You remember the reaction?
Yeah.
Even Sean was like, "Whoa, what?"
Yeah.
Like, and so I actually watched the fight with Ant at his fight party, and there was I got to learn a lot, not from Ant or Carson from the show, but from Shane Mosley Jr., the Sugar Man, who's been on with us before, and his father, Shane Mosley Sr., Sugar Shane. I got to see P-Town's finest, Pomona's finest. You know what I'm saying? So it was weird because when I seen him, like, I think he kind of was like, "You're from," and I'm like, Shane brought his dad.
Yeah.
So
was he analyzing? Was he?
Yes, he was. Give
me some of that, man.
I was sitting next to him and Shane.
Yeah.
And he literally was like, "Man, Adam's got to get going early, and it's a stamina." And I've learned this from my grandfather who boxed to anybody I know that boxed, and Ant said it very well. Every boxer has his kryptonite.
Yeah.
It depends on, some people don't have punching power, some don't have the reach, and there's one hit, or they're just punchers. They're just the guys that knockout artists.
Yeah.
To me, and Ant said it, and the people at the party have said it as well. Caleb's kryptonite is after the 6th round, his stamina decreases quickly, and from what I've seen and from what Big Shane said, he goes, looked like after that round, he started to revert back to how he normally would fight, versus sticking with the game plan. So the game plan kind of switched. And look,
you don't think that had nothing to do with them shots he was taking upside his head from Benavidez?
Those shots started.
Stamina,
more
or
of
you
the
think
shots
that was
started
the
to come
fear
after
of
the 6th
God?
round, though.
Huh?
More of the shots started happening after the 6th round, and I think that's kind of where it is. Like, look, people can say what they want about Caleb Plant. Sometimes he doesn't do himself any favors on social media, but the dude is a warrior. He literally, I think his sheer will to not get knocked out, his sheer will to like, I'm going, you know what? I got a puncher's chance, and I just got to hit him with one. He ate those punches. He was getting punished by Benavidez.
Yeah.
A lot of people I know were really happy to see that. Some people weren't, but he literally was just, and what I like best about it, after the 5 years of bad blood, they squashed it in the ring. They fought like two men, and they said, you know what? They gave each other that respect. I have so much more respect for Caleb Plant, and as a boxer and as a man, and I'll say this too, Benavidez is about to go on a run. He's going to be that guy for that weight class. He's different. He is different.
What about, wait a minute, hold on. You leaving Saul out of this? What about Saul? You have nothing to say about Saul? Come on, man. You can't just say Benavidez is going to be the man there when the man there has been there. And
Benavidez is that guy.
Got to do something. You got to do something against my main man, bro, before you say you just going to run that division. Like, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
That should be
Canelo's
the next fight.
Right?
Canelo should be next.
Right,
that should be that fight.
Yeah. After that, then we'll see. I think that I guess to the rest of us, Benavidez has had some, issues, I guess, out of the ring that have.
He addressed those.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of tainted the way that we've seen him. I think he's been there for the longest, and I think this fight coming up with Canelo, this next fight, this could have happened before.
He's 26.
Yeah, I'm saying, but
and other people that had some issues. Sugar Ray Leonard had those same issues. Marvin Hagler had those same issues.
That's not the point I'm trying to make. The point that I'm trying to make is that he would have fought Canelo before Plant even fought Canelo. Like this matchup has been in the works. They were gonna meet each other regardless. Some belts got taken, some other things happened, and it didn't get to happen in the ring.
Man,
these are the best two guys at this division. Plant is not. Plant already got knocked out by Canelo. So what are we saying here? This is the fight that we should have seen years ago that we're gonna see now, and this is what's gonna decide it. And Canelo is the man, and until I see him beat, he's still the man.
Man, the whole fight card was great. Like,
I didn't get to see none of the preliminaries.
Shout out to Al Heyman and PBC.
It was good.
Like, bro, so the first fight was Cody, the dude that we seen.
Right. He always brings it up.
Dude, okay, so backstory, he lived at the Hooters across the street from MGM.
Really?
Dead broke, like 9 years ago, and said,
wow,
I'm gonna be fighting for a championship.
Wow.
His dad, he thought about killing himself within the last year and a half, 2 years. His father ended up taking his own life a few months ago, and he dedicated this fight to his father.
Really?
So yes, and
wow,
that was two warriors in the ring. Then the Joey Vargas primetime fight. Bro. Primetime, Vargas hit him with a left. Primetime did like a spun around.
He didn't spin him.
Yes, he did. And his hands went like this. I thought, that's it. First round.
Really?
Stunned him. Went the distance. Primetime, and I will say this, and Vargas trains out of the Benavidez gym in Seattle.
Right.
I thought it could have been a draw. It was that
really?
close. Yeah. Primetime ended up getting a decision, which at the end they were talking head. They're gonna run it back.
It's gonna happen again.
It has to run it
All
back.
right, I gotta make sure I'm catching that.
So the whole every fight on the undercard was a great fight, and then my guy Ramos fought. Now Ramos was the one talking with my neighbor Adrian.
Shout out.
I want the picture of us with him.
Yeah.
But he was talking to Adrian, and Ramos said before the fight, like, hey, Sylvester's a good fighter. But on paper, this looks tougher, but I'm gonna knock him out. Stop the fight mid-round. Like, dude was getting battered and bruised. Ramos just laying in on him, doesn't move his feet well, laying in on him, and just hit, and whop, left this. Dude was just taking him. He only dropped him once, but the dude's face, he just was eating him.
Yeah.
So like every fight on the undercard was a phenomenal fight. Obviously, the Benavidez Plant fight. The only negative I have about it was Plant was holding constantly, and he never got warned. And it's the same official that Floyd would always have.
Yeah.
So he kind of lets that go. It was a bigger ring. So, I mean, it was.
But I mean, if he wasn't able to do that, he'd probably been out early.
Yeah, Benavidez had to adjust, and he did. Once he got held, he was like, okay, you're going to hold me? I'm just going to keep throwing punches until they break this. And that's what happened. So shout out to the two Warriors that were there. And, man, like, if you guys get a chance, go to franchisesportsmedia.com. Go into the combat sports section, the boxing and MMA section. See the pics that Trish took from the media workouts.
Yeah, media workouts.
Man. That was, you see, and there's some behind the scenes stuff of us with Sean and Ant and Carson as well. So
yeah, man, we actually went on the Porter Way podcast last week before the fight and just kind of set it up a little bit, gave our takes on what we thought we would see. Just happy to listen. Boxing used to be such a big deal in this city. I love boxing back in the day, man. When I first came to Las Vegas, like this was the Lennox Lewis days. Like the end of Mike Tyson. Like I was here when Mike Tyson bit Holyfield here. Like I was at the MGM when they started running through the joint, turning over tables and all this and that. And it's just boxing was such a big deal back then, right? And to be able to just see promotions where you have really good fighters and really good fights and with some hate behind it. Like the great part about this one, it was hate. Like it felt like it was real hate. And you go in there, they go in the ring, they mix it up, winner comes out, and they decided like men afterwards. It just reminded me of what boxing used to be out here, and hopefully it continues. Hopefully we can continue to get these kinds of fights, man. We
got a big one coming up.
Yeah, real big.
Tank and Ryan Garcia.
Real big, man. That's another one. So hopefully we can just keep them coming. Just keep them coming, man. I feel like it'll take an act of God to stop Canelo and Benavidez in September. So we know we got two more coming that are going to be great. I'm still upset, just like everybody else, about us not being able to work out this Errol Spence and Bud thing. Man. Hopefully that'll happen before they both 56 years old. But outside of that, man, boxing has to keep the strings going. You have to keep on giving us what we need to see, like the UFC does.
Yeah,
they constantly giving you something good to watch.
So obviously a big part of boxing is walkout music, right?
Yeah.
And Plant came out at first started off with Eminem. What, you never seen a white person before? And he kept saying that over and over and over and over for like a minute straight, and then he walked out. And if you come out with something coming out like you gotta win.
Yeah.
You gotta win. It'd have been
yeah.
funny too if he turned total heel and went the opposite way that he's been. Like that, I think that'd be, crazy.
Yeah.
But people come out to different music, and then he ended up coming out to Nipsey. So it was it was a good transition.
Right.
Next time he needs a mix, holler at us, because we can maybe do a little something for you.
Get you right, boy. Get you right.
But I will say that at James's spot too, we were listening to music, and we were listening to Big Pimpin' off of the Above the Rim soundtrack. G Minor was playing it that night because he was spinning at Almighty Originals. And like you and I just instantaneously started busting. Like it took us back to like 94.
Yeah.
So,
as G Minor does.
Yes,
as he does.
yes,
He does the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that got me thinking, and I asked you that night, and we wanted to talk about on the show.
Yeah.
What are, and it doesn't have to be hip hop. What are some of your favorite movie soundtracks, your scores?
So, I got to thinking about it, and I've liked a lot of them. I couldn't really come up with a full ranking. But
No ranking.
I know what my number 2 top were. Number 2 for me would be Trouble Man from Marvin Gaye. Top to bottom, I love the record. I look at it as people have always asked me about why I tend to write the songs that I tend to write, like R&B wise. I think that album had a lot to do with it. It told the story of what was happening at the times in a way to where, like, I feel like Marvin was a street reporter during that album from top to bottom. And I've always taken that standpoint in my own music. So that one really affected me. That was one that my dad had, the LP. I even ended up hooking up with a publisher in Germany some years ago and found some sessions from that album where I was just able to sit and listen to like Marvin direct the session and tell him, no, I want to get that part again, or put some backgrounds on it. So it's just surreal, bro. Right. And then number 1 all time, man, the greatest song ever written was the title of this soundtrack. It's Purple Rain. It's Purple Rain. The amount of hits that came off of it, the writing, the musicianship, the part that it played in the movie, just the movement. That's the greatest soundtrack ever to me. But when you come down to it, man, Above the Rim was a great one. Murder Was the Case was a great one. Yeah. The
Juice?
Show, Juice, yeah. It's been so. Even when you go down Boomerang.
Boomerang, oh my God. Here's one that a lot of people don't think about. Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Really?
If you get a chance, go look at all the songs that's on there.
Okay.
And how many of those were hits.
Okay.
Like it tripped me out with that. That's why I say that's not to be.
No, I'm gonna go check that out.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. I'm gonna go check that out. Because if you're looking at the times, a lot of them TV songs was on that joint, right?
And a lot of stuff got a lot of radio play.
Yeah.
And then, with the Purple Rain, obviously that's, if you don't know, that's based on Prince's life story, a true story.
Right.
My radio father, the guy that brought me into radio, Gary DeMaroni, you know this. He's the first person to play Prince. He broke Prince in Minneapolis. Prince used to go work on his album at the radio studio.
Wow.
And the night jock, one of the jocks came in, gave Gary, said, listen to this. And Gary's like, I don't play local talent, they got
local talent.
And this before he was Prince, right? And Prince is just sitting there like quiet.
Yeah.
Well, then Gary said that they go, okay, fine, play it. And he played it, and he was like, this is really good.
Was it Wanna Be 11?
Yeah. So he put that in overnights.
Yeah.
And by 2 days later, it went into power rotation.
Okay.
And then that's what broke Prince. And Gary was the only person from radio invited to the real version of Purple Rain, and actually in the movie as well.
Wow.
To the day Prince passed away, Gary was able to secure interviews for me to interview Prince. Prince gave him tickets. We were having a concert.
When was this, you say?
I interviewed Prince back in 04, 05. So right after I was at U92 still. Yeah. And then we got tickets for his concert at the Staples Center at the time.
Got it.
And we did some whole VIP stuff. So it was really cool. Purple Rain is probably, I agree, the greatest soundtrack ever. Trouble Man. Another good one, Four Brothers. A lot of it is old Motown, a lot of Marvin Gaye.
Okay.
I dig the fact when the soundtrack actually plays a role into
you went out of the box with that one. I would have never thought about that.
Yeah, of course. See, that's why I do what I do.
I mean, it's been so many of them, because I think when you are able to put a musical piece to video, I think that's what we love it so much. It gives us another dimension to enjoy our music with. That's why MTV is the station today.
Well, it used to be.
That's why VH1 is the station. But still, that's where they got their mark, showing us music put to video. So if you got a whole movie, and in Prince's situation, he had his life to create a piece around.
Yeah.
I mean, what better canvas is that? You know what I'm saying? So I think, and then the ability to, the difference between the two that I mentioned and all of these other ones, one artist.
Yeah.
One artist held the whole soundtrack down for the whole movie. As opposed to when you get to, you know, the show or Above the Rim or Murder Was the Case or like even the Boomerangs and Mo Monies, you have so many artists. I actually worked on it.
I know. That's what made me say it.
So I mean, come on. The lead single of that album was Luther Vandross and Janet Jackson,
and then
on
Ralph
one
Tresvant.
song together. Right? Yeah, Ralph Tresvant on there. So it's like just the opportunity to pull so many artists together for one piece is always what's made the soundtrack so interesting to us. And especially for our era, y'all don't understand this, but if we wanted to get a CD, want to hear some music, we got to be there on Tuesday with $17, $18, period.
10 a.m., The Warehouse, Tower Records.
That's it. We had to be there to get that thing, because first of all, it's going to sell out. Number two, it was a way to, the soundtrack was a way to get a lot of your favorite artists on one record.
Yes.
And that's why they always stuck with us. And it's not as big of a thing no more. I think the soundtrack played a lot with the big screen.
Yeah.
Also, right? So we go and see the movie, or we bump the soundtrack. The soundtrack gets us ready for the movie. Then the movie makes us fall even more in love with the soundtrack.
Yes.
And they kind of marry together in a way that they don't these days.
You know, I remember when I got in my late teens and I was able to drive, right? I'd go to the Warehouse, and what was my, she worked, I want to say in Hollywood, the Warehouse. She's really the best kept secret in hip hop. If you were in the music. Violet Brown.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You go there and get it from Violet. You're late. You go out there, have a good time.
Absolutely. You had to go see Violet back in the day, man. Shouts out to Miss
Yes.
Brown.
Love
Boy,
her.
she did a lot for me. Can't lie to you. She did a lot in solidifying me being able to just get my foot in on the West Coast, because she was a powerful lady, man. She really moved and shaped for records being sold, you know, on the West. And for me, I wrote my whole album, so it's about sales and usage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man, Violet would put them orders in, man. It was like cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. Love it. Shouts out, Violet.
Well, man, that's it for this week. We'll be back next week, and we'll have some more Vegas topics, more
Yes,
sports
sir.
topics.
You got another polo shirt for us next week?
I don't know if you
Or
can say
what?
polo. I'm gonna rep my boys, man. That's my. We grew up. We were the kings of the parties in the IE, man. Everybody came to the polo party. Club Cinos.
Here you go.
Above the Law owned it.
Here
Above
you
the
go
club that
now.
we had put Metro out of business. That's what we did.
No, they
RJ,
used to-
Muji.
No, they used
Focus.
to get down. They used to get
Yeah.
down out there. We used to take that trip every once in a while and go check them boys out there. You know what I'm saying? It was a different bit of scenery on that side of town. So we
Yes,
used to have
it
to go
was.
indulge every once in a while. You feel me? Y'all did all right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We'll check you next week on the Franchise Podcast. Make sure you follow us on all social media at TheFranchiseLV and on our YouTube page at Franchise Sports Media.
Remember, 2,500 tickets to the XFL game next week. We're going to pack Cashman Field. Get at us. Link in bio. Holla at your boys.
But the girls are still pretty in fashionable dresses. You know what I'm talking about. But ignorance is bliss. You ain't gotta give a damn about no code.